looked like I was never going to be able to do it. And laying in my bed one morning, I said, I got faith. And I said to myself, well, why don't you use it? And I said, I got a master I can call. And I'm feeling a little better now after those two statements, kind of sit up in the bed a little bit. I said, I've got faith and I don't worry at all. I got faith and I know he'll see me through because God will do what he said he'd do. And I wrote it down, and I went to rehearsal that night, and I gave it to Bobby and asked him if he would sing it. And he's been singing it ever since, and he does a fantastic job. Jesus taught and believed that faith is the key to whatever you want. Mark, the 5th chapter and the 36th verse. He spoke to the woman, Jesus spoke to the woman with an issue of blood. And he said, daughter, thy faith has made you whole, so go in peace and be whole of thy plague. Be whole from thy plague. He didn't say, if you notice, he didn't say, I just healed you. He said, daughter, thy faith hath made you whole. I'm telling you this morning, whatever situation is broken apart for you, your faith will make you whole. Mark, the 9th chapter and the 23rd verse says, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that can believe. That goes for her too. If you can believe, if you can believe. A man came running in to tell the ruler of the house of the synagogue, your daughter is dead. And Jesus heard the man and said, fear not, only believe, and she shall be made whole. And he went into the house where the child lay, and only took with him, listen now, Peter, that's faith, John, that's love, James, that's judgment. Jesus told the child to get up, and she did. There are belief and dismal fears around all of you, me too, but you have to speak the word of truth and stand on your faith in order to save your life. Nobody else can save your life but you. And you have to work on saving your life. You have to put your heart, your mind, your soul, your body, and your being into it, because you are responsible for your life. God has given you everything that you need to be, have, and do whatever you want to be, have, and do. He's already made the arrangements. He made the arrangements before you even was born on this planet. That's how much he loved you. That's how far ahead he thought of you and the things you might need. Responsibility, the dictionary says, is the accountability for one's actions. The accountability for one's actions. The things that are happening to you, and I don't care if you get mad, the things that are happening to you are because of the things that you have said, the things that you have thought, the things that you have done, or the things that you were supposed to do that you never did do. So it's not what your neighbor did to you. It's not what your color did to you. It's not what your size did to you. It's about the way you thought about it and the actions that you took. I am responsible for my life, and you're responsible for yours. So if your life isn't working the way it should, you're responsible. If my life isn't working the way it should, I'm responsible. My mind is the instrument of my success. If I think I can do it, I can do it. If I think I can't do it, I can't do it because I have control. Oh, it's quiet in here now. All the hand clapping is gone, Bobby. Your song has faded away, Bobby. They're not shouting. They're not shouting anymore now. I am the one with the greatest involvement in my life. I am the executive of this estate, and I am responsible for my life. In Genesis, which is the first chapter, the 27th verse, God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea." The idea of the ideas in God's mind, and over the fowl of the air, the high lofty thoughts, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. You weren't here when Genesis was written. Way back there, whenever that was, because they're not sure when the Bible was written. But whenever it was, he said, "Let us make man in our image." In music, we have a saying, if you want to start all over, let's go to the left-hand corner. So God went to the left-hand corner, and he said, "Let us make man in our image and our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea." The fish of the sea are the ideas in God's mind. And over the fowl of the air is the high, lofty thoughts, not that dirty mess you think sometimes. That has nothing to do with God. That get even has nothing to do with God. That she's no good, that he's no good has nothing to do with God. It has to do with you. When you say she's no good, in you is a little spot comes up that you have to pay for that. Now, you may not have to pay her, but as you sow, so shall you reap. And you got to pay somebody for that. You see, you could have just said she's wonderful and wiped out the whole thing. But you decided to take an attitude. It's getting quieter. Okay. The ideas in God's mind are the fowls and the fowls of the air. And then there's another thing. And over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. And all creeping things now are not little bugs that crawl on the ground. There are a lot of creeping things in your life. You have some people in your life who are creeping things. You see, and you keep giving yourselves reasons not to put them out of your life. And then you turn around and ask God, why is it so miserable? Why is it? Because of the creeping things. Yeah, but you see, that's my cousin. But it's a creeping thing. But you see, Father, you don't understand. We've been to school together, and we graduated from college. Well, it's you and the creeping thing graduated from college. What you've got to do is get rid of the creeping thing. You see? Because the creeping thing's not responsible. You're responsible for your life. You see, God has given us power and dominion over all life and over our lives. So I cannot blame my biological father. He was just part of my transportation from the other plane of life to this plane of life. I can't blame my mother. She was the channel through which I made the trip from the other plane to this one. I cannot blame the environment, for I am able to choose my own environment. If I don't like it where I am, I can go someplace else. It may take time and effort, but I am equipped with all I need to move if moving is what is necessary. I cannot blame the incidentals, my looks, my color, my education, my financial situation. If I am too fat, I can become slimmer. If I am too slim, I can gain weight. If I need an education, learning is available. The color story won't work, for there are places in this world that you can go where people love black people. And worship black people. You can go there. Or you can let it not bother you and stay where you are and be black as you want to be. You see, because you're responsible. I can pack up and go, or better not go anywhere. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible to God for my life. Daniel Webster said it, and we should all know it, as well as feel it deeply. The most important thought, Daniel says, that ever occupied my mind is that of my individual responsibility to God. My individual responsibility to God. I went to sleep last night. He could have cut the breath off. He woke me up this morning. I was blessed to look over, and there was my husband. He had awakened him too. You had some sort of experience like that. You must have woke up breathing, or you wouldn't be sitting up in here. But have you said thank you? Have you said, I appreciate it? I understand, Father. I'm going to do a better day today than I did yesterday, because you've given me another chance. You've awakened me again. You've allowed me to have a chance to be as magnificent as you designed me to be. Matthew, 7th chapter, 16th through the 20th verse. Jesus talking. You shall know them by their fruits. Every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, nor can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. He went on to tell us what would happen if I do not bring forth good fruit. He said, every tree that brings not forth good fruit shall be hewn down and cast into the fire. Therefore, you shall know them by their fruits. Well, now, if you ain't producing nothing, hello. It's available. You've got the power. You've got the responsibility. But you don't understand, Reverend Dell. Things just keep on going wrong. Well, who's in control of which way they go? Who decides what's... Hello? Did the mic go off? Didn't nobody say nothing? Huh? You can. Who decides how the day is going to go? When you get up in the morning, is there somebody that comes in and decides how you're going to think and act and feel? Oh, somebody does that. Who does that? And if you're not doing it right, guess what? Change your mind and change your life. If I'm not in my proper place, I will have to work at it. I'm working for my success. Takes hours. If it takes forever, I'd better put in my required hours. You see, I need to turn off the TV and turn on the meditation. You see, I need to get off the telephone about somebody else's business and take care of my business. I need to stop hanging where I ain't got no business hanging and spend some time with God. Hello up in here. Whatever my success required, I'd better hop to it, for I am responsible for my success. Not conditions, not circumstances, for he that is in me is greater than he that's in the world. So all I have to do is remember the formula. All things, the formula is all things, whatsoever I shall ask for in prayer, believing, I shall receive. All things, I love this word, whatsoever. All things, whatsoever I shall ask for in prayer. Now here's the key, believing, I shall receive. I'm responsible for my life. You see, God has delivered myself to my care and says, I have no one fitter to trust with me than me. I know me better than you do. Some things that took me a long time to admit about me. I kept saying God didn't understand, like God was stupid and I was smart. I lived that way I'm over it now, thank God. You don't be laughing, you do it too. You tell God he don't know what he's doing. What I want you to do, God, is to do this. And you haven't done this. Well, guess what? I wish he let me speak for him every once in a while. I ain't done it. I ain't thinking about doing it, and I ain't going. When you get it straight, we'll go through. You see, I have all these tools he gave me. God's might directs me. God's power protects me. God's wisdom is mine for the learning, and God's eye is mine for discerning. If I just get in with God and do my meditation and use my affirmations, and you've had this happen to you, you start to do something, and it's like a big wall goes up. And bye. God just told me not to do this. Have some courage. God just told me not to do this because I wanted to do this. I came out here to do this. And when I reached out to touch it, it was like fire. There's something I shouldn't put my hand on. Oh, it's happened to you. Then you explain to yourself why you should be ready to suffer. Then you ask God, why you put this on me? Or worse than that, you say, if I had used my first mind. Which means you denied God because God is your first mind. Huh? God's eye is mine for discerning. His ears is mine for hearing. God's work is mine for clearing. So I'm not afraid, for I have God, and I can trust God to go with me and remain with me and be everywhere for my good. He lets me know that all will always be well if I'll stay in my place. My mother's going to be so happy when I get to the Father and she get a chance to talk to me, because she used to tell me all the time, stay in your place. You ain't got no business over there. Stay in your place. And then I would turn. I couldn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing to my mama. My mother believed in action. So whatever I said to my mother, I said in my room under the cover and stuff like that. Well, you get tired of bouncing off the wall. I got tired of bouncing off the wall, you see. But I have learned that she's right. Once I stay in my place close to God, things don't happen to me that used to happen to me. I used to get up and go looking for stuff. Now I get up and go to the bathroom and get back in my bed. I stay in my place. I'm tired of being tossed around and abused and misused. I don't want any. I've had enough of that. If I live to be 418, I don't need any more of that. I stay in my place. I can't allow myself to be anxious, for the beginning of anxiety is the end of my faith. You see, he told me I have faith the size of a mustard seed. The congregation almost jumped on me and fought me, because I went to the market and I got a jar full of mustard seeds. And I wanted them in the bulletin. You were there. Now, you can't hold it, you understand, because it's so little. So I have great suggestions. I suggested that you put it down and put a piece of tape on it, and the clear tape would let them see it. And, okay? Well, the tape you had to get it off your hands, because once you put it down, you didn't get it correct. It got all over your fingers. The mustard seed fell on the ground. You had to get something to get that up, so it just turned into an entire mess. You see, because the thing is so small. You owe it to yourself to go to a supermarket. You go to shop. You see, one time just go past the spices and look at the size of a mustard seed. He said, if you have that much faith, you can do whatever it is that you have to do. You can stand on it. He meant for me to know that, because it is equipment I need, and since I'm responsible for my life, I need to know that if I have faith, everything will be all right. You see, when we used to have twice as many people, at least twice as many people as we have now. And we had a big choir, and we had musicians. And it came up that the money ran out. And the choir went home. And Karen and Bobby stayed. They don't have anybody to direct. But they love God, and the God in them had them to stay. And everybody that sometimes be nobody in here. And people say, what you going to do? I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to stand on my faith. That's all I know how to do. That's all that works. And I like things that work. Standing on my faith works. You see. Now, when we came in here today, when we first came in, there was more people in the lobby than there was in the room. Huh? Isn't that true? Huh? And they started looking around and but we just kept on keeping on. And bit by bit, you all came. You see, wouldn't that have been a disastrous thing for me to say, oh, Lord, ain't nobody here. Come on, Bobby. Come on, Karen. Let's go home. And then you appeared. Wouldn't you have a lot of faith in God then? Huh? You have to step out on what you know. You have to, if you know that God loves you and wants you to have the very best of everything, that he designed all of the good stuff for you. God don't need nothing but your obedience and your love. He made all this good stuff for me. He made a lot of good stuff for you. He loves you, but I'm his favorite. I am. I can't help it. No disrespect to you. He loves you too. He does. But I'm his favorite. And I live in that. So when things go, I have not worked. I used to work 48 weeks a year. Okay? I haven't done that in what, 25 years? How many? 30 years, Daddy said 30 years. I haven't done that. Okay? And the money runs out. And the house note is due. And the this note is due, and the that note is due. And I say, Father, I'm waiting because there ain't no money here. And then somebody in Sweden, I don't know nobody in Sweden. Somebody in Sweden will send me a check for $10,000. And it will pay the house note and all the other notes. And there'll be some left for me to go out to dinner with my husband. I was with William Morris for 45 years. And when I reached a certain age, although I had made them a lot of money, I was too old for them. They wanted someone younger, slimmer, and 18 other things, you see. So we just did the best we could, my husband and I. And fortunately, people remembered me, and they called. And they wanted me to come in and sing for them. And I would go and sing for them. And the movies would call. And it would always be when we needed to take another step to go forward. So I have so much time at home, I said I ought to write down some of this stuff that I've been going through. And write down some of this stuff that I've learned. And give a testimony to God for all that he's done for me. So this lesson that I'm giving you right now is in a book. Yeah. Yeah, it's in a book. It's called Metaphysically Speaking. It's the best $15 you'll ever spend in your life. I wanted to have something for the church. And Barbara King, who is my very good friend, somehow heard that I had written a book and called me almost hostile. Where are my books? Where are your books? Well, you wrote a book and I don't have my books. Well, how many books do you want, Babs? Well, I'll take 100 and I'm going to make it Book of the Month. So I sent a book to everybody in the organization, the Universal Foundation for Better Living. I sent all the preachers a copy of the books. All the preachers get so far as compliments. You're teaching well. The teachers went to school to get their license. Everybody there called me and said, your teachers were the best teachers there. And you're teaching them really well and really good. And if you come and listen to them, they're right. They're right. They want to serve God. So whatever else happens in my life, to think that I am that much responsible for somebody wanting to stretch out on God and have faith in God and teach about God and live for God, I am a success. You see, I am a success. You have to take care of your temple. You see, this is my temple, and I have to take care of my temple. I want the outside of my temple to look good. I want the roof to look good. I want the auditorium to look good. I want the temple to look good. I want the windows to shine. I want the floors to be clean and good looking. I want the walls to have decorative, beautifully addressed things on it. I'm responsible to God for his habitat. I take care of this house for God. One of my teachers said, we had a meeting. Tommy is her name. We had a meeting. We were thinking about moving to another place. And we were trying to decide because the rent was too much here for what we were able to use. We could only have it on Sunday in the afternoon, and we were unable to do the things that made the money to support the church. And so we were talking about moving to another place. And we were having meetings about it. And in the meeting, Franklin asked for opinions. And Tommy said, what it means to me is that she keeps the church open and we always have a church. Now, she could have said a zillion and 14 things, but the fact that she felt the feeling that I felt and stood up for me and said, whatever else is happening, I'm not going anywhere because I like the way the woman is carrying on. She keeps me in a church. You see, appreciate it. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. God has designed me to succeed, and I have succeeded all my life. So this little space in here where things are looking funny, I laugh. And I know that when we get to the place that God wants us to go, it will be wonderful for us. It'll be all the things that I've asked him for. It'll be done the way I wanted to do it. So I'm responsible for my life and the success of my life, and I'm responsible for my joy and my peace. And the things that I've said to you today are in this book along with several other chapters, and I would suggest that you would buy it for you, not for me. I read it already. I lived it. I'm living it. It has done, my faith has done for me things that I tried to do all my life and never got them straight. Never got them straight. I asked God for the greatest man in the world, and he gave it to me. He gave it to me 34 years ago. 34 years ago. I've been on a honeymoon for 34 years. Before that, I cried at night, and I was in pain, and the relationship. I made up my mind. I said to God, I do not care if I never, ever, 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 ever have a relationship with another man. Never. And so for 3.5 years, what they said was the prime of my life, I was celibate and happy. And then one morning, God covers all the fields. One morning I woke up and I just felt alone. Not lonesome, I just felt alone. And I wanted somebody to hand me a cup of coffee. I wanted somebody to talk to and hold me. And I said to the Father, Father, I choose badly. And I want you to choose somebody for me, somebody who's capable of loving as much as I'm capable of loving. I'm putting it in your hands. I want you to look out for me. And what he chose for me was love, appreciation, fun, joy, partnership, ideas, marvelous feelings, real, true, and absolute caring for me, and somebody that I could care that same way for. And so for 34 years, I've been on a honeymoon. And I'm going to live a long time so I can stay on this honeymoon. You need to get to work on your faith. You need to stand on have enough nerve to stand on your faith. Trust God. Why would God have to lie to you? What would he gain lying for you, to you? He owns everything. You don't own nothing, including yourself. You belong to him. Everything belongs to him. And he has said in the Bible, every other page is if you just have faith, if you just trust me, if you just allow me to. I want to do the very best of everything for you. You're responsible for your life, and you should step up to the bat. And you should take your life over and give it to God and let him show you the wondrousness of living. And so it is. And amen. The key won't turn and the lock seemed broke. Running around in circles with your dreams up in smoke. Just take a good look around. You might be surprised that there's a new way if you're willing to try. Because for each door that closes, the good Lord will leave a window open. Yes, for each door that closes, the Lord will leave a window open. Now there comes a time that inside you know some of the games you've been playing you just have to let go. You might feel lonely and lost, walls caving in, but what seems like the end can be your chance to begin. Because for each door that closes, the good Lord will leave a window open. Yes, for each door that closes, the Lord will leave a window open. So step on up, make no excuse. You've got the power just begging to get loose. There's a light, and it's shining for you. The light is in your heart, and it will see you through. So when you're stuck in a rut, and you think you can't cope, just call on the Spirit. Whatever you do, don't give up hope. Because for each door that closes, the good Lord will leave a window open. Oh yeah, for each door that closes, the good Lord will leave a window open. God bless you and keep you. I place you lovingly in his hands, and I do that because only God has enough power to protect each of us individually. And only God has enough love to surround each of us individually. And God has that peace that surpasses all human understanding. And he'll watch between us while we're absent one from another. God keep you. And remember, you are responsible for your life. And you can have all the good things that he designed for you if you will just stand on your faith. And so it is. And amen.